Now that we have a sky, I want to talk to some of y'all about the trees. Not necessarily all of us have a tree, but most of us do. And it might just be one tree, or it might be a bunch of trees that are around. Now, trees can be painted in many different ways, and they can be in many different colors. This one has got some reds and some oranges in it. It's being real playful with the colors, which is nice. This one is kind of the way I'm going to teach you right now, where we start with these dark greens and then we kind of keep them nice and loose, and then we build upon that, on top of that, with your lighter colors. The way I'm going to make a green is I'm going to take a yellow and a blue, and so I'm going to take quite a bit of yellow, and I'm just going to take a little bit of blue, and I'm going to make this green here. To lighten it up, we can add some white, but right now I don't want to add any white. And if you want to mute it down a little bit, you could always add a little bit of this tan color here, and that can really mute it, but it also kind of brightens it up a little bit as well. I'm going to go for slightly darker, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue, going for pretty dark here. If you wanted it to be even darker, if you have some really dark ones, you can add just a little bit of black, and I'll show you that in a second, but I want to lay in some of these greens here. The way I'm going to do that is to start with, I'm going to kind of lay in some big shapes, and I'm not necessarily going in the same direction. I keep turning my big brush this way, turning it that way, and I can see that it kind of sticks up here and it has this kind of bush here, so I might use the corner of it there. It's coming all the way down to my house here. I'm also noticing that this isn't dark enough, so I'm gonna add a little black and a little blue, and I'm going to make a darker green because this green is going to be more of my mid-tone. I'm going to do 3 tones on this tree here. It could have more, but I'm going to stick with just 3, but I want to start off a little darker. And I'm simply keeping it somewhat playful. Make sure that it doesn't wind up looking like a star like this, so I want to kind of push these in different directions. I might just push my brush around, being careful not to get on top of my house here. Also know that a tree isn't perfectly round, nor is it normally one shape. It has lots of lights and darks, and there will be certain parts that are very dark and certain parts that are very light. Know though that this is not my lightest tone. This is just my darkest tone. So even though I'm having lots of colors in here, this is just going to be my darkest one. This is going to be slightly a darker tree here. I'm just pushing them around and being pretty playful. Now, this is not the only way to paint a tree, but it's the way I'm going to do it and teach you to do it. I encourage you to do it as well, to start with your darks, and then we'll go on top of these darks. Once it dries, we'll go on top of these darks with these light, very bright leaves that are on top of it. So I'm simply laying it everywhere that I see dark trees, and I have a bunch of trees. Okay, once you're ready, we're going to get some deep yellow on our palette, and some blue and white. And as we find lighter spots, as it starts to dry up, I might want to make some lighter greens and come back in over here. Also, as we go lighter, I'm going to go smaller. I want to go really big at first, but then as I lay in those highlights, I'm going to make some smaller leaves. Actually look at your picture, don't guess. Try to figure out where those lights and those darks are. Okay, you're more than welcome to start whenever you're ready.